And lining up on pole position this morning will be Joshua Williams. Alongside him will be three-time race winner yesterday, Ethan Sparks. Archie O'Brien, the 91, in third, with Archie Gibbs in fourth. On the third row of the grid is the number 58, Marco Holt, with Wilson Dilks in sixth. Luke Fitchett lines up seventh, with Thori Trevorrow in eighth. Harry Payne in ninth, with Bill Harris in 10th, Cason Sperry in 11th, Keaton Payne 12th, Noah Guillory 13th, Bailey Lawrence in 14th, and Callum Maxwell in 15th on the last position of the grid in on row 8. As the riders are now all ready to go. As you hear, everyone look at the lights, ready to shoot off, down to turn 1, and it's a good start there for Joshua Williams, who holds on to the lead. Ethan Sparks chasing down once again. Ethan's had a fantastic weekend so far, and he's looking at making it 4 from 4 in the AC40 Pro class.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ethan picking up 3 wins yesterday. You can only expect that he's going to be right on the pace today and looking for that 4th win. Josh Williams is, though, at the moment, who's leading this one, so Ethan's got a little bit of work cut out for him in the form of Josh Williams at the moment as they come into the complex just before the back straight for the first time of asking. We saw yesterday, Gareth, how strong Josh Williams is into the infield section on the brakes into the hairpin, so it might be difficult for Ethan Sparks to find a way through, but we saw how fast he was yesterday, and it's very likely that he could find a way through on Joshua Williams today.
Yeah, absolutely so, but Ethan will be all over him, looking at adding already to a very strong championship position. He currently stands on 75 points after the opening 3 races, but it is Joshua Williams that leads the field around after lap 1. Those 2 have started to make a little bit of a breakaway over the rest of the pack, so it's been a good start from the top 2 that led off of the front row of the grid. Behind, we've got the likes of Archie O'Brien, Archie Gibbs, and Marco Holt going with them as well. So yeah, look out for Archie O'Brien. He had a couple of good results yesterday as well, so strong start from him, currently 3rd in the championship.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Archie O'Brien as well, flying today. We saw his pace yesterday as well, so it will be interesting to see if he can catch these guys. But Ethan Sparks now making a move for the lead, so that's Ethan Sparks overtaking Josh Williams at that hairpin that we said Josh was so strong at. But it looks like Josh is clawing it back. He claws it back just on the acceleration there. So brilliant stuff from both of these guys as they head into the final corner for the second time of asking. But is Josh Williams still just about leading it from Ethan Sparks. Ethan Sparks now taking the lead back from him, so brilliant swapping positions between these guys. Yeah, absolutely so. Great start for the pair of them, and they have got quite a healthy lead over the rest of the field, and I'm sure after the 2 transitioning positions over the infield section last time round, that's not the last we're going to see of him. We know that Ethan is desperate to add to the 3 wins that he picked up on Saturdays. We've got a yellow flag out on the back end of the circuit, possibly for a driver that stopped on the sides, but it is still Ethan Sparks in the lead of this one. Joshua Williams closing down as the pair go into the infield hairpin section. Rise up and go. Okay, so that's good to see. But at the moment it is all about Ethan Sparks and Joshua Williams at the front. Can Archie O'Brien do anything about these guys and catch up? Doesn't seem likely at the moment, but in a brilliant battle for 3rd place at the moment between him and Archie Gibbs. Yeah, absolutely so. There's Archie O'Brien currently in 3rd place, with Archie Gibbs in 4th. Thori Trevorrow doing very nicely as well, up into 5th position as well. So we've currently got the 2 Archies in 3rd and 4th, and battling out between themselves for the P3, whilst we still have Ethan and Josh still out on track, still trailing each other, and with the laps counting down, it's all going to be about who can make that last move. And of course, we've seen some very, very late changes for position in the first round of the season yesterday, and one of those was from Ethan. So let's watch out and see if that happens again. Josh is going to have to stay with him over the next laps or so if he's going to have any chance of getting that first race win of the weekend. Yeah, Josh is doing really well to stay on Ethan at the moment, because we saw how fast Ethan was yesterday. He was just able to break away in every race, so for Josh to be able to go with him at the moment is good. Josh being able to just sit behind and watch will also be a good sign for the end of the race. It will mean that he can give him a bit of a study and then hopefully find a way towards the end of this race, but it's going to be tough competition against Ethan Sparks. Yep, absolutely so. Archie O'Brien still in 3rd place. Another podium currently
We'll see if that changes, of course, but once again we'll be adding to a pretty healthy total for him so far to open the this season Canada, which has been much delayed. Everyone looking forward to getting back to racing, and but at the moment it's a pretty healthy getaway for Ethan Sparks and for Josh Williams. They lead at the front by a good 2.5 seconds at the moment. So yeah, a great getaway for the opening two, yeah, those the pair of them kind of starting where they left off yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so 3 wins for Ethan and 3 second places, I believe, also for Josh. So I'm sure Josh is going to be wanting to reverse that today. But obviously, very early in the season, 20 points on the board isn't a bad thing at all. So at the moment it is still Ethan Sparks leading from Joshua Williams, Archie O'Brien, Archie Gibbs in 4th place, and Thorley Trevorrow in 5th. Harry Payne currently in 6th, followed by Bill Harris, Casey Sperry, Noah Guillory and Keaton Payne rounding out your top 10. Bailey Lawrence, Callum Maxwell, Luke Fitchett, Marco Holt and Wilson Dilks round out your top 15.
But it's Archie O'Brien doing a good job out there at the moment, trying to hold on to that 3rd place that he's currently commanding, and you can see being tailed pretty closely by Archie Gibbs and Thorley Trevorrow, and Thorley doing a much better job today, staying in contention for a podium place, and you can see the 3 are going to come across the line all within a 1/10 of a second of each other, so very, very close indeed, and this is going to go right down to the wire for the final place on the podium. So yeah, Archie O'Brien doing a fantastic job at the moment, really, really working on that defensive driving.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Archie to be able to hold on to that position. You've got to think that the other Archie behind him is going to be just studying him at the moment. It does look like he's trying to find a way through at the moment, but Archie Gibbs has had a good look at Archie O'Brien and will be just trying to figure out where he can get past Archie O'Brien ahead of him.
Yep, absolutely. So P9 and P10 battling. That's Noah Guillory and Keaton Payne. The number 41, Noah Guillory, and the 112, Keaton Payne, battling over 9 and 10 on track. So not just the top 5 positions all battling over position. It's happening all through the grid, and that's what you're going to get in the AC40 Pro class. And we saw 3 magnificent races yesterday for these guys, and even though they've all had an extended break, it was back to business straight away, and one of those drivers that is on it is Ethan Sparks, and he's still being followed by Josh Williams. So yeah, Ethan, even with that extended break, straight back on it, and doing a fantastic job once again, adding to that already strong total.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a long anticipated wait for these guys probably is definitely giving them some eager anticipation for the season, but a lot of them, as soon as they could, got training, got on tracks, and made sure they were ready for this season. And 2 riders that have done a very good job at the front are your 2 riders at the front, Ethan Sparks and Joshua Williams. You can just see Josh Williams can take a really tight line there and just finds his way up underneath the leader of Ethan Sparks. So that is now Josh Williams into the lead as we come across the line for the final, as we start the final lap rather, and head into the first complex for the last time.
Yeah, great move there from Josh Williams up into the lead right at the opportune moment, and it's really, really good there for Josh. Well, very late move indeed to get up and really giving Ethan Sparks all to do in the last lap to maintain his perfect start to the season. But it is Josh Williams that looking at picking up his first victory of the season here in the AC40 Pro class, and he's going to have a job to keep Ethan's behind, but it's going to be close coming down the back in towards the infield section with the hairpins. Does Ethan look for the inside? He does, but he's going to get cut back. They're going to go side by side into the second hairpin. Who's going to get it out? You need to get the inside line. It is Joshua Williams that's going to get a good run, and he's going to go into the final 2 corners. Is Joshua Williams able to use that second overtake? But Ethan's going to go down the inside. They're going to go side by side across the line, but it's Josh Williams that takes the win to start off the day. Fantastic result for him. Ethan Sparks in second. Behind, we're going to have 3 coming across the line in a flash. It's going to be so close between all 3 of them. Archie O'Brien, Archie Gibbs and Thorley Trevorrow coming across the line within 1.5 tenths of each other, but it is Archie O'Brien on the line picking up another podium. A mega way to start off the day.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant for Josh Williams. I know he was looking for a win today, and he's already got it. It's 2 more to go, he'll have another 2 goes at it. But it was good to see, especially with Ethan Sparks taking 3 wins yesterday, and now we have a new winner in Joshua Williams today. Archie O'Brien doing well to pick up another podium there in 3rd place ahead of the other Archie Gibbs, and Harry Payne rounding out his top 5. So very interesting race, that one.
Yeah, absolutely so. And it was brilliant in the last part of the lap into the infield hairpin section. You saw Ethan thought he's got to go for it, and you can see it just didn't quite come off slightly deep, and that allowed Josh back up the inside and to eventually take that race win.
Joshua Williams it was then that took that win ahead of Ethan Sparks. Archie O'Brien in 3rd place ahead of Archie Gibbs, Harry Payne, Bill Harris and Thorley Trevorrow in 7th. 8th place went to Casey Sperry, 9th Noah Guillory, and rounding out your top 10 was the number 112 of Keaton Payne.
Yeah, good race there for Harry Payne in P5 after starting on 9th on the grid. So good race there to start off the day for Harry, and I'm sure a top 5 for him will be a pretty pleasing way to start the day. Special marks goes out to Archie Gibbs, was under pressure for the entirety of that one. So and Archie O'Brien, under pressure for the entirety of that one from Archie Gibbs and from Thorley Trevorrow, but it seems Thorley fell down the order towards the end, but Archie O'Brien doing another great job, another podium for him. And it's going to be Josh Williams and Ethan Sparks looking up to the lights. Watch out for Archie O'Brien, fast starter in 3rd, and the guys will be heading off very, very shortly. And with Joshua Williams in the black Lydd will be looking at picking up another good result this morning. And we will set off for the AC40 Pro Class Race 2 for them. And Ethan Sparks, I'm sure, will be looking at making up for possibly not finishing on the top step in race 1 and adding to his 3 race wins that he picked up yesterday for round 1.
Looking like some more complications for Luke Fitcher. I think he's going to have to start from the back of the grid, so because he was late to the grid, he's going to have to start from the back. So watch out for Luke Fitcher making his way up through the field. All eyes to the flag at the moment, and brilliant start. You can see Luke Fitcher on the inside trying to make up positions as quickly as he can, but it's Ethan Sparks that has the lead. Then Josh Williams moved back into 2nd position there. We can see Archie Gibbs in 3rd place ahead of Archie O'Brien. So a nice clean start for all these guys, and Ethan Sparks will be delighted to see some clear space in front of him. Yeah,
Ethan Sparks, brilliant start off the line, much like Casey O'Gorman in the last race, sweeping around the outside into turn 1 and turn 2, past the pole man Joshua Williams. So Josh, a little bit of work to do to close in on Ethan. Ethan's got a little bit of a gap as they come into the hairpin section in the infield, but it is going to be Ethan Sparks most likely leading us around the first lap. Behind you can see Joshua Williams and then the 2 Archies, Archie O'Brien and Archie Gibbs closing in. But it's been a good start there for Ethan Sparks. The man in the black and orange leathers is going to come across the line, and in fact Joshua Williams starting to close in on him, and a little bit of a top 5 breakaway there with Marco Holt in 5th place.
Yeah, definitely not a lot of breathing space for these top 4 riders. Brilliant job from Marco Holt, the number 58, to find his way into 4th spot. Like you were saying, nice helmet for Marco Holt, and I'm quite fond of the number as well. 58's a good number. Marco number 58, you'd like to think that his racing hero was the late Marco Simoncelli. Haven't got that confirmed, but by deduction, I'm pretty sure that that's probably the case. Ethan Sparks at the front then, the number 62, coming under a little bit of pressure here at the hairpin by Joshua Williams. We've said all weekend how strong Joshua is through there, but not quite able to make it through on this lap. Plenty of laps to go for Josh to have a go at Ethan, and he'll do well to just have a few laps behind him, settle into this race, but also be wary of Archie just behind him.
Yeah, Archie O'Brien and Archie Gibbs not being dropped by the leading pair. So Ethan Sparks is still holding on to this lead, but Joshua Williams, as we saw into the infield section, was putting the pressure on. Goes a little bit wider on the exit at turn 5. That might open the door for Archie O'Brien, who's currently in 3rd place, to close in on him. But Archie Gibbs, equally in 4th place, is staying with it. So all is to to play for, but you see Joshua Williams get a really good run on Ethan Sparks as they come to the double right-hander at turn 9 and turn 10, and it's all going to be about who can get the late break in towards the hairpin, and you can see almost up the inside there was Archie O'Brien. Had a thought about sending it against Josh Williams, backed out of it at the last minute, and in fact that's allowed Archie Gibbs to close in on Archie O'Brien for third, but Ethan Sparks doing a good job at the moment to defend from 3 drivers, all looking at picking up victories.
Absolutely brilliant stuff here. 4-rider battle for the lead. Exactly what we want to see. Really good to see Archie O'Brien and Archie Gibbs able to keep with the pace of Ethan Sparks and Josh Williams in this race. Any of these riders could win this race, but it's Ethan Sparks that's holding the lead quite comfortably at the moment. He looks nice and comfortable, covering his lines. I'm pretty sure he can hear Josh Williams right on his back tail, but he's doing really well to cover his lines and make sure there's no way through for Josh Williams.
You're watching the FAB-Racing 2020 Minibike British Championships. This is the second race of the day for the AC40 Pro class, air-cooled 40cc engines, and riders upwards of 6 years old part of this class, and you can see very, very competitive. We've got a top 4 breakaway. Marco Holt, unfortunately, he's dropped down a little bit. He's 3 seconds behind, but he's in clear air in 5th, so Marco holding on to a solid 5th place. We've got a little bit of lap traffic that's been negotiated and passed there by the top 4. And
seeing a bit of a breakaway now. The top 2 seem to have broken away a little bit from the 2 Archies, so hopefully Archie O'Brien will be able to claw that back in, and we can see a nice 4-rider scrap for the lead, but I'm sure Archie O'Brien and Archie Gibbs will be more than content battling for 3rd place. But every rider, of course, Gareth, wants the win, and every rider wants to prove that they can win in these AC40 Pros class. They've come through the AC40 rookies. They've proven to FAB-Racing that they have what it takes to race in this Pro class. And you can see Ethan Sparks going very defensive there. Josh Williams taking that nice wide line, as we've been commenting on all weekend, but Ethan Sparks doing a good job of covering his line and making sure there's absolutely no way through for Joshua Williams at the moment. Ethan Sparks then it is that leads another lap. Been absolutely faultless so far this race has Ethan Sparks, covering his lines like we've been saying, and making sure there's no way through. Joshua Williams, though, you have to think it's only a matter of time before Joshua Williams has a go at taking the lead. Archie O'Brien then looking as if he's closing back in on these guys, something we're going to have to keep an eye on. Archie Gibbs also in there looking got a little bit of breathing space at the moment, does Joshua Williams over Archie Gibbs, but anything can change, especially as they start coming up to some back markers in this race. Yeah,
absolutely. Of course, Ethan Sparks also taking part in the MKGP50 class, so a lot of riding for Ethan this weekend, and he's doing a great job at the moment holding off a very fast Joshua Williams, and Josh not letting the pressure off of Ethan, making him work for it if he's to pick up a 4th victory of the weekend here at Lydd. And he's pushing hard. The laps are counting down. We're coming on to 3 laps left to go here in this race, and in fact Archie O'Brien is now starting to close in, and he's doing a pretty good job picking up the fastest lap of the race, a 55.8 there for Archie O'Brien. So Archie O'Brien looking at picking up 2nd, perhaps even 1st, if these two can perhaps hold each other up a little bit. But Archie O'Brien doing a really good job in the late stages of this one.
Yeah, it's all hutting up here at the front with 2.5 laps to go. It could be a 3-rider battle for the lead. Archie Gibbs just dropped off the back of this group now and just looked like he was going wide through that section, but now it's all about these guys at the front as they go into the infield again. Ethan Sparks going very defensive into the infield section. Archie O'Brien doing really well to stay with these guys, not only stay with these guys but catch these guys after they had a little bit of breathing space. Just seeing on the screen there the number 7 Luke Fitcher, a quick check on Luke Fitcher. He started from the back on the grid, and the number 7 has made his way back up to 7th place where he was originally meant to start from the on the grid. Looks like a bit of a tall order to get up to Wilson Dilks in 6th, but a tremendous ride from Luke Fitchett to come up through the grid there. But it's all about the battle at the front at the moment. Ethan Sparks, Joshua Williams, Archie O'Brien still not quite on the back of these guys, dropping off a little bit more on this past lap. but 1.5 laps to go for these guys, and Joshua Williams is looking very menacing and looking like he could be making a move on Ethan Sparks at any point. Ethan Sparks again going really defensive, Joshua Williams going really wide, trying to get the drive, but not quite able to duck underneath him on the second hairpin.
Yeah, so you can see there that both riders using two completely separate lines. Of course, Joshua Williams perhaps thinking of getting a tighter apex by taking a wider line in and getting the run out. So yeah, it's great sort of like thought during the race as we're on to the last lap for Joshua Williams to try all he can to really put his bike in all different positions, as there's some lap traffic coming up ahead, and that's not what Ethan Sparks wants at all, and he's going to need to try and clear it as soon as possible. So he gets up the inside. In fact, there we go, just about the top two managing to clear it. We're coming into the final stages of this one. It's split by 0.2 of a second. It's Ethan Sparks holding on to the lead that he's taken since the start. Joshua Williams is pushing so hard to keep onto it. Let's see the different lines between these two. Defensive from Ethan Sparks. Joshua Williams takes, once again, that's wider line, but tight. You can see Ethan Sparks covering off both inside corners. He's going to make Joshua Williams have to make a late move into the final corner if he can get close enough, but it's not going to be enough. And in fact, down goes
Josh Williams is down. He's out of second place, so that's Archie O'Brien that's going to take second place. Really unfortunate for Joshua Williams, who is second place in the championship, and unfortunately has gone down trying absolutely everything to take that win. You cannot knock him for trying. He was absolutely trying to take that win, but it is Ethan Sparks who absolutely flawless. And a little bit frustrated with his bike there, a little quick kick to the bike, but back on, needs to cross the line to get some points there. He needs to think about the championship as well. It's easy, it's quite easy to get very frustrated with what has just happened, but he needs to be able to pick up those points. He gave it absolutely everything he had, Gareth, and really unfortunate end to the race.
Yeah, I mean that typifies a racer. He's pushing until the very last, just one tiny mistake, and he comes across there. You can see just inconsolable, so frustrated with himself. He knows that he's just thrown away a podium position there, and commiserations to Joshua Williams, who'd ridden so well in that one, and was just pushing hard. Second place was in his grasp, and just the slightest of mistakes in the final corner. Ethan Sparks, congratulations goes out. Here's a 4th race win of the weekend for Ethan. But yeah, but I'm sure out of all of that, and Joshua Williams came home in 10th, but yeah, it is Ethan Sparks. You could see Archie O'Brien delighted, arms up in the air as he came across the line, comes home in 2nd. Archie Gibbs gets a podium place in 3rd. Marco Holt promoted up to 4th, with Wilson Dilks in 5th. Luke Fitchett does manage to make his way up to 6th place, with Harry Payne in 7th, Bill Harris in 8th, Thori Trevorrow in 9th, and unfortunately Joshua Williams dropping all the way down to 10th position as he walked the bike across the line. You could see just how frustrated he is, and it means so much to these riders to just the smallest of mistakes and cost him a whole heap of positions.
These guys, we could see an absolute surprise, as we always see in the anyone really, any of these riders could come through and win this race. We have no idea. We haven't seen what these guys are like in the wet, so we could be in for a very interesting race as the guys get their warm-up lap underway, so they can just assess these track conditions for one lap before they go hammer and tonks for the race. And there, that is all your riders just testing out where the grip is on this opening warm-up lap here.
Yeah, you can see the puddles really spraying up as the riders go through them, and that's not going to help anyone behind, because so much puddle, so much spray, it won't just get in the way, but it also straight onto the visor of the rider behind on these bikes that are so low down. So obviously riding through puddles is way more treacherous and way more dangerous than some of the riders we've seen in the GP 70s and the 50s.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking before about how it's easier to lead in wet conditions than it is to it's easier to follow than it is to lead, but one benefit of leading, of course, like you've just said, is you don't get that spray off of the other bikes, especially with the amount of standing water at the moment. They're going to have to be a bit tentative going into this infield section, as there's quite a bit of standing water. You can see quite a bit on the apex as they go through the left-hander here, the second the hairpin of that infield section. So something they're going to have to look out for. Probably have less grip than the rest of the circuit because it will have more standing water, having had no bikes ride through it so far today. Absolutely.
It's going to be Joshua Williams on the pole with Ethan Sparks in second, RJ O'Brien lining up in third alongside Archie Gibbs, Marco Holt in fifth with Wilson Dilks in sixth, Luke Fitch at seventh, Thorley Trevorrow in eighth, Harry Payne in ninth and Bill Harris in 10th. Outside the top 10 is Casey Sperry, their number 20 rider, with Keaton Payne in 12th, Noah Guillory in 13th with Bailey Lawrence in 14th. Callum Maxwell rounds out the final row on P15 in row 8, and you can see there it looks as though, is that Archie O'Brien already struggling with that bike taken to the sideline to the pit lane, so obviously that bike issue unable to get him started in this one, so that will open up the door for Marco Holt to get a good run down to turn 1, so it looks like hopefully he's going to be able to get that bike restarted, so that's a good thing for Archie because he's had some really strong results so far this weekend, and but it's going to be Joshua Williams leading from the front, looking at the lights, getting us ready for the AC40 Pro class, their third race of the weekend, and it's a good start there from Ethan Sparks around the outside, straight up into the lead of this one. Ethan up ahead of Joshua, who's dropped right down.
Yeah, great start for Ethan Sparks from second place on the grid up into the lead. He's going to be the benchmark now as Archie Gibbs does a really good job to get around the outside of Archie O'Brien through that first complex, and is looking really strong around the outside of Ethan Sparks as well. So Archie Gibbs finding grip that no one else is finding at the moment. Ethan Sparks will now do his best to try and stay on the back of the number 3 rider there, leading this race with the fluorescent flashes on that leathers and on that bike.
What a move there from Archie Gibbs around the outside. Like you said, no one else has really even tried that, but yeah, found all the grip and already extending a lead over Ethan Sparks. And as they come into the infield hairpin section, and as you say, it's going to be tricky over the first few laps as the bikes look to disperse a little bit of water, but it is Archie Gibbs that leads us around to Ethan Sparks in second, so Ethan once again will be looking at picking up a strong result and pushing forward his AC40 Pro Class Championship hopes, leaving round 2, but it is Archie Gibbs who's got a comfortable 1.7 second lead after the first lap, even though he started in 4th place, so what a mega start for Archie Gibbs.
Yeah, brilliant start from Archie Gibbs, and a good start for number 58, Marco Holt, maintaining his 4th place on the grid. You can just see him there with that helmet that we approve of so much, opting not to run a front fairing in this race. Interesting tactic. I'm not sure quite why he's not running a front fairing in this one. Possibly fell off, but looking very interesting. He had a nice number 58 earlier on, but we can see him there, spot him with that green helmet, Monsters Inc. inspired helmet there. So yeah, very, very good ride at the moment for Holt. He's just going to try and find his way past Joshua Williams, who's just in front of him at the moment in 4th spot. So Joshua Williams just eking out a little bit of a gap now on these riders behind him, but a big gaggle of riders behind the behind the 4th spot rider rather of Joshua Williams as they get side by side through the infield section. A big gaggle of riders here just behind Joshua Williams, so loads of riders trying to find their way through. You can see just further back there the number 7 of Luke Fitcher also in the mix, so yeah, many riders really pushing on in this race. Archie O'Brien still in 3rd place, and Archie Gibbs just absolutely flying at the front, finding pace that no one else is able to find at the moment. 112 flat from Archie Gibbs, and Ethan Sparks doing well to be in the 112s as well, and these guys are absolutely in a world of their own. No one can quite match their pace. They're a good few seconds faster than anyone else at the moment, so it's all about those two at the front. Archie Gibbs with a nice 2.1 second lead over Ethan Sparks at the moment, but Ethan putting the hammer down and getting some good lap times in at this point in the race.
Yeah, absolutely so, and you're completely right. Archie Gibbs and Ethan Sparks are circulating Lydd 5 seconds faster a lap than anyone else. Special mention goes out to Noah Guillory, started in 13th, now finds himself in 8th, so So a great start for Noah there. He'll be looking at putting pressure on Wilson Dilks and Marco Holt, who's been passed by Thori Trevorrow for 5th position. You can see this battle in the mid-pack still going on. All these riders staying very close to each other across the line. Archie Gibbs is just going faster and faster. A 1:10 puts him 2 seconds a lap faster than Ethan Sparks and 7 seconds faster than the riders coming down through the field.
Thorley Trevorrow is another rider absolutely on a mission. 1:14 from him, so faster than all the other riders around him. He's moved up into 4th spot, and Wilson Dilks now 1:12.5, which is matching the pace of Ethan Sparks. So Dilks and Trevorrow absolutely on a mission now.
Yeah. One rider that's not had the great of run so far is Joshua Williams. Started on the pole, now finds himself in 7th place, under threat from Noah Guillory. So Josh possibly not enjoying these wet conditions compared to the dry, which he was doing so well in over the opening stages of this weekend in round 1 and this morning in the dry for round 2. But it is still Archie Gibbs that is leading this one and leading it pretty comfortably. He's coming out of the final corner now across the line, and he's got an incredibly healthy lead over Ethan Sparks, and he's just going quicker and quicker every single lap, setting purple times every time we see him going around.
It just looks like a couple of riders have a problem there with the red leathers there. Unfortunate for that rider. He's trying to get the bike started and get back out onto the circuit, but unfortunate scenario for him. That is Thorley Trevorrow, who is on an absolute mission, and we saw climbing through the field. He is now having some sort of problems, so you could see how disappointed he was. He's dropping down the order, and very disappointing for him. But you can see all these riders really on it at the moment. This big gaggle still pretty much there, and as you say, Josh Williams really struggling at the moment, falling down the order. He was leading this big gaggle earlier in the race, but perhaps was just holding them up a little bit, because ever since he's dropped down the order, the lap times further in front have absolutely dropped, and the fastest lap of the race now, by 2 seconds faster than your race leader Archie Gibbs, is Wilson Dilks. So a purple time for him, 1:08.1, and we have a rider down now with the 1:01.51s. That's the number 41 of Noah Guillory. So he's down trying to straighten his handlebar there after he falls victim to turn 12. Another victim of turn 12. We've seen so many riders crash there today and this weekend, but Archie Gibbs it is then who still leads. Wilson Dilks now 1:10.2, so he's just dropped off his pace slightly, but very possibly could catch Ethan Sparks, as he's still a second a lap quicker than him.
Yeah, with 3 laps left to go, Wilson Dilks will, if he can maintain this pace, catch Ethan Sparks on the last lap. Really unfortunate there for Noah Guillory, who was running really well up towards the top 6, and unfortunately one of the many riders that has suffered with turn 12 in these conditions. And but the star of the show, who's got to be Archie Gibbs, started from 4th on the grid and hasn't really had the best of weekends. He's been up there but fallen back off the pack, and it looks as though we've got another rider
that's Thorley Trevorrow still trying to get that bike running. So yes, still trying everything he can to get back into this race is Thorley Trevorrow, but unfortunately he won't be able to maintain the position that he was in, and like we saw Casey O'Gorman crashing out and able to almost maintain the position he crashed out in. But Archie Gibbs then 1:09.7 on that last lap. Ethan Sparks responding to the pace of Wilkes and Gibbs with a 1:09 flat, so some good pace from him, but I think it's going to be a lonely second place for Ethan Sparks. He'll be happy with that. He was leading the championship going into this round, so 20 points on the board for Ethan Sparks will be a very good result in this race, as we have 1.5 laps to go in this race. You can just see there the number 58 of Marco Holt without a front fairing on at the moment, just attacking Archie O'Brien for 4th spot there. Luke Fitchett just behind those guys on the number 7 machine.
Yeah, Archie O'Brien doing a good job, but Marco Holt's going to try and go around the outside of him, and we'll see if Marco can get that move done past Archie O'Brien. That would have been a superb move, and he was very brave indeed. So we've got 1 lap left to go, it seems, and in fact the checkered flag does come out for the riders. So Archie Gibbs takes the win here, a lap earlier, but Archie Gibbs taking the win by a monumental 10-second margin. Really enjoyed these wet conditions. Ethan Sparks does hold on to second. Wilson Dilks, really good result from him, moves up from 6th on the grid into a podium position. Archie O'Brien does hold on to that 4th place, holding off Marco Holt by just over a 10th of a second margin. So Marco really pushing Archie O'Brien into the final stages. Luke Fitchett in 6th, Harry Payne in 7th, Bill Harris in 8th, Joshua Williams not enjoying it, down in 9th, and Keaton Payne rounding out your top 10.
And just for good measure there, Archie Gibbs, you can see there, takes the win and just puts in the fastest lap of the race on that last lap. So no one can question his pace. 10 seconds behind him was Ethan Sparks. He'll be happy with that for his championship. Wilson Dilks it was then that took 3rd spot. Good pace from him. Archie O'Brien in 4th. Marco Holt, the number 58 with that helmet that we like so much, in 5th place. Luke Fitchett, the number 7 in 6th on the number 7. In number 11, Harry Payne was 7th, and just followed by Bill Harris, number 14. Joshua Williams in 9th, and the number 112 of Keaton Payne rounds out your top 10.